On today's episode of Locked On Avalanche, rumors are Sidney Crosby is ready to sign an extension with the Pittsburgh Penguins. Does that finally put to bed all of the he's coming to the Avalanche talk? Let us talk about it. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
Your Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Locked On Avalanche podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for tuning in and making it your first listen of the day. Always appreciated. I'm your host, Chris Maselli. With me, as always, is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. Make sure you are following us on social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter X, Locked On Avalanche, Instagram, and Threads. Questions, comments, concerns, opinions, LockedOnAvalanche@gmail.com. And follow us on our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. And make sure you subscribe to our subtext as well. Link is in the show notes below. When you do, you chat with Kyle and I one-on-one. We get your opinion, everything Avalanche related, which we share on this very podcast. And we're going to have some mailbag questions from our subtext people a little bit later on. We got a bunch of questions also on like Instagram, but we get our subtext people in first. So subscribe to subtext if you want your question answered like that.
The real OGs.
Come on. Let's do that. So we'll get to that a little bit later. But where we're going to start, sir, is the topic that everybody loves to talk about, myself included, in Avalanche circles, and that is Sidney Crosby, a guy that has nothing to do with the Colorado Avalanche. But it's a fun conversation to have because of the relationship he has with Nathan MacKinnon. Will he ever come to Colorado? It seems like every trade deadline, Pittsburgh is not in the mix, or even if Pittsburgh is in the mix, you always hear like Crosby, there could be a deal on the table to get these two guys together. And how great would that be for the Avalanche? And now, because he's got a contract that he's renewing, he's got one more year left on this deal. That is, $8.7 million. I love that, by the way. Why are you you're looking up to the heavens right now? Like it annoys you that you are not a superstar backer, I guess, if he's not on the Avalanche.
Okay, it's the Sidney Crosby thing because
right.
I mean I've been around the Avalanche for a while. I love the Avalanche, and it just doesn't like the Drouin talk. You got me. Nate Drouin makes sense. They play together. Just because they're best friends, I don't care. Like, what is he going to? What does Sidney Crosby need to accomplish that he hasn't already accomplished in his amazing, prolific career? One of the greatest to ever play the game. Right. Why would he just leave the team that he like? We talk about like the Derek Jeters and the Kobe Bryants. Why would you leave to go play with your best friend for half a season, one season? What do you accomplish here? What like a Stanley Cup that you want with your best friend? Big deal.
Which would be cool. That would be cool though.
When I think it'd be much cooler for Sidney Crosby to win one more for Pittsburgh. I think that would mean 1,000% more than anything he could win with Nathan MacKinnon. It's not like they've, other than playing in the offseason and shooting at that washing machine, like I don't understand what the appeal is to bring him to Colorado. And then, we've had 150,000 episodes talking about what the Avs are going to do with the money when it comes to Landy and Nuke. How are you going to make this work? They're already over the cap. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, it does make sense in that that's a draw, dude. I mean, it's Sidney Crosby. And I don't care if he comes to you at a trade deadline and it's the last year of his career. And we know it's the last year of his career. And he's in Pittsburgh that's the only way it's going to happen is if Pittsburgh is just completely out of it. It's his final season. and hey, let's have one more run. That would be a story, man. That would be a really cool, fun story for him to come to Colorado to play with Nathan MacKinnon. And good Lord, if they were able to raise a cup together, I mean, that's like Landeskog and Eric Johnson winning one together. and the fact that that it's not just a trophy, it's the Stanley Cup where your names are on it. Those two guys would just be over the moon that their two names are on that cup. So, do I think it's going to happen? I do not. And first of all, like the rumor, he hasn't signed anything yet, but the rumor is he's signing a 3-year contract in the neighborhood of $10 million a year, which is a nice contract for someone who's 36 years old, right? So could this be his last? Very well could be. I don't think Sidney Crosby is going to overstay his welcome in the league. And I think after 3 years, he's going to kind of maybe kind of just read the tea leaves on where Pittsburgh is. And if they're nowhere in the fight and he's not kind of producing the way he wants to produce, he bows out. I don't think he's going to overstay his welcome, but I think it's important for him to be a guy that stays on one team for his entire career. There are athletes that really look at that as like a big deal. I think he's one of them. He's known for, and if he leaves, I don't think it's going to minimize his career at all. If he leaves in the last year of this contract and Pittsburgh is nothing, guys do that all the time. Of hey, let's just have one more go at it. I still don't see it happening, but I don't think if this is the deal that happens, I still don't think the story is going to go away because Pittsburgh is not a team that they're kind of on the verge team. I mean, sure, you can make a couple moves here and there that maybe props you up to a playoff team. But because they're not like head and shoulders above what we're used to with Pittsburgh, this is going to happen every single trade deadline.
And honestly, if me and you, we just hopped into the DeLorean and went back to where we were watching games on Versus and Outdoor Life Network, how crazy would it be in the story of Sidney Crosby that he's playing till 39, making $10 million a year? Yeah. Like he was almost done with the game entirely. But with all that said about Sidney Crosby, if you told me the Avs could get Ryan Graves over Sidney Crosby, I think that would excite me a little bit more. Because I just like I get like it does it just other than the best friend thing, it means nothing for me. And honestly, with the way the Avalanche have gone about winning the cup in 22, like I feel I like the homegrownness of the Avalanche. They're not going out there and getting your big names to accomplish a job. It would feel a little bit like, yeah, you did it, but
But they've done this before, dude.
Yeah, Ray Bourque
many times. Ray Bourque, they've done it with. Paul Kariya, Teemu Selanne, they did it with.
Well, they didn't get a thing out of those.
No, I know that. I'm just saying, like they brought guys in to try to do that. Like this is not new to them. They've done this many times in the past.
Like if this was a couple years ago, like before the COVID bubble, this would have made a little bit more sense. But the closer and closer it gets to the end of his career, like this would be like, why wouldn't he go to Florida? Why wouldn't he go to Vegas? Why wouldn't he go to Dallas? Like, if you want to go get one more cup, there are teams you can go get one more cup. It just never made sense other than they're best friends. Well,
that's what it is. You say, why not Florida? Why not Dallas? Because Nathan MacKinnon isn't there. Wherever Nathan MacKinnon is, they are tight. You know, like when Nathan MacKinnon was the captain of the All-Star game, he told the other teams, like, he flat out threatened them, do not take Sidney Crosby. Like, he is my first round pick. Don't take him. And it's an All-Star game. It's not like they were having like raging wars over this, but they knew. So these guys are really close, man. Like, and again, I don't, you say it could have, if it was going to happen, it was before the bubble, but that is unrealistic too, because I didn't really think Sidney Crosby's not going to 5 years ago. Crosby's not going anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, so I've always said, if it's going to happen, it's going to be at the end of his career. Jerome McGinley is another one that they brought in to try to win a cup. And I know Crosby's already got some, but I think the one thing you're correct on is he's got nothing else to prove. It's not like he's coming to like the Iginla styles to come in.
This is a Jumbo Joe Thornton thing,
right? It's not that. So it would be just to play with Nathan MacKinnon and maybe go win one more. I say one more is not really going to do anything to it, but it does. Every extra one that you win does something to your career. Would it lessen it if he did come to the Avs, at trade deadline last year of his career and go win it? No, I mean, you win one. but it to me, and maybe it's just because the era that we're in of just athletes just jumping around team. It's a free agency period in which we live. Um, Getting those guys that stay on a team for 15 to 20 years is just so rare anymore. So I would like to, don't necessarily want Sidney Crosby coming here because I'd like to see him finish and just like I want Nathan McKinnon to do it, just like want Mikko Rantanen, Gabe Landeskog, Cale Makar, all those guys. I want them to do it in an Avalanche sweater. I kind of want Sidney Crosby to do it in a Pittsburgh sweater.
You know what? And just to close it, I bet you if you asked Sidney Crosby, I think he would probably say he'd rather win with Malkin or Flower than he would Nathan McKinnon.
Probably, yeah, because that's his team. He comes over to the Avalanche. It's not his team anymore. I think it'd be okay playing like second, third fiddle, but at his stage of his career. But I don't know. I just don't think it's where he's at. But you're seeing some of the fan base like kind of like really angry about this. Like, why would he sign an extension? Why wouldn't he come over to the? It's a nice story, but it's not a guarantee just because these two guys are friends. It doesn't work that way in the NHL.
And if you think it does, I got oceanfront property in Arizona. I'd love to sell you.
So, but like I said, the story is not going to go away. We will get this until Sidney Crosby says, I am retiring.
Then he's going to be coaching the Avs.
Yeah, right. So, all right. So we'll move on from the Crosby conversation until the next time it comes up at the trade deadline this March. Until then, let's get to some questions that we got from our Subtext crew. So let's get into that after this. All right. Passion, drive, and patience. It's the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. And eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, style, which we, of course, call what?
The Hart Trophy winning Nathan McKinnon trilogy.
Love it. eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber and not cash. And with all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home the win. So keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. And eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right. So I'm going to jump into some questions here from our Subtext people. I wanted to get from Madam Battleaxe right off the bat because she got a three-parter here. And the first one she put up is, why isn't there more press on the first female assistant coach, Jessica Campbell? This would bring much needed press. And Jessica Campbell was hired as an assistant coach for the Seattle Kraken, first assistant coach, female assistant coach in any of the major men's sports. And I think in the hockey world, it was a big deal. I think it did get covered quite a bit in the hockey world. I don't really pay attention to what goes on outside of hockey. I do pay attention to football, but I don't watch ESPN anymore. I don't really, I'm kind of selective. I listen to hockey podcasts and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's getting covered, but I'm kind of probably taking her word for this, that it's not.
It's not,
because it's not. I think maybe there's this thought out there that maybe there's a little bit of jealousy that hockey got the first female assistant coach and not football and not the NBA. Well, I thought that there was that girl in the NBA that she's always thrown around when there's a new hire for a head coach. Is she not an assistant coach for the Spurs?
I think she is.
So I thought she was too. Either way, I mean, if this is the second one, it's only the second one. Like, this is not something that happens all the time. Why is it not? She's probably right that it's not getting covered as much as it should.
And for a myriad of reasons, because of hockey. I mean, it's the old boys club. It's trying to get the entire league to do anything that's with the times is like pulling teeth. And for the league to have They're the league's first female assistant coach. Incredible. Now I would like to hear this more than one day, one blurb, one notification. I would like to hear this more, and then honestly inspire who's next. I would like to see, like, let's get some things cultivated here. Like, I love this, and it's awesome for Seattle. This is perfect. I do hate that it's not being covered more.
Yeah, you would like to see things like this just have a domino effect, and I just think the reality is it doesn't happen as quick as it should. You know, let's see when the next time it happens. You know what I mean? And even for like black coaches, like there's no black head coaches or even assistant coaches, like, or there's not a lot of them as far as assistant coaches, but that's another area that the league needs to grow in. So, we'll see, but I think it's a great move. She seems like she's up for the task. So, and maybe, just maybe, that catapults her to a head coaching job. Can you imagine that? That'd be.
And I'd like to see some like PWHL. I'd like to see some of those coming in, and I'd like to see that grow. Definitely.
She also asks, are you a fan of coaches wearing suits like in hockey, or being more relaxed like the NFL or the NBA? Where do you stand on this?
I have wore a suit one time on this show, and I have to wear a suit a lot for what I do in school.
I'm doing air quotes, suit.
It was a suit coat over a t-shirt.
It was. You're right. Yeah.
I'm telling you, they're uncomfortable. I get they look classy, you look dignified, but they're uncomfortable. I'd rather see my coach look like at least cool. You know what? I'm glad they're not like baseball where they're wearing the jersey out there. That's weird. But I could take like the suits. That's cool, I guess, but I'd rather do like a tracksuit. That's still like cool, but I just don't put on a jersey and sit out there with a bucket on. Like, that's confounding. But I get for some, but I don't want it to be mandatory.
I'm all for the suits. Like you say, you want it to look cool. What is cooler looking than, you know, standing behind a hockey bench, arms folded, barking orders in a suit? You do it in anything else, I'm not taking you seriously. I'm not. I think like in practice, when the coaches are wearing that, it's almost like they are wearing a tracksuit. That fits that, right? Like, because they're out there with their skates on. They're not going to wear a suit in practice. Nobody does. That would just look kind of funny. But dude, I used to love when NFL coaches wear suits on the sideline. All of them. And now you get fined if you wear a suit on the sideline in the NFL. They don't want you wearing it. Same thing in the NBA. I think it's weird not seeing a coach in a suit on the sideline in the NBA. They've just gone to this casual, like, Under Armour with, you know, black pants or khakis or something like that and sneakers. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm the old school way with that. I want to see him in a suit.
No, and like I don't like it for the players, like, because you see those like 15 minutes till puck drop or 20 minutes, and they show everybody getting off the bus in the suit. You know they got to take off that 3-piece suit and all the buttons and the cufflinks, and then put on their hockey stuff. That's got to be just miserable. No, forget about it.
Part of the territory comes with the gig.
Yeah, that's why I don't play hockey.
Man, if pay me the money that a coach makes, I won't complain that I have to take my suit off at the end of the day. I'll be just fine with it. I'll hire somebody to do it for me. How about that? And her last question is, what's your dream career? One hockey related and one non-hockey related. I mean, hockey related for me, like, for the everydayers who listen, like, I love the ins and outs and the behind the scenes stuff. So I would almost want to do something whether it be like a scout. Like, if I didn't have a family and kids, like, because scouts travel all the time, I would like doing that, or just like, you know, some sort of GM. Maybe assistant GM, because I don't get the blame when something goes wrong. That goes to the GM, and when something goes right, I'm just fine being like, yeah, I was a part of that, but you can take all the credit. That's fine. I know the people who know I had something to do with something that went right. But then, like I said, when something goes wrong, I had nothing to do with it. You put all the blame on the GM. So I think that'd be like where I'd want to be.
Yeah. And the everydayers know, everybody knows I'm going to school. I'm getting my bachelor's degree in December. And my hockey job would be like broadcasting something where I'm talking about the team. My non-hockey job, I'd be a mattress tester.
What is that?
Test
What
this
is that?
mattress. I'm going to punch in and just lay on the mattress for 8 hours and tell you if it's suitable or not.
And then you wake up and just be like, good.
Pass. And I punch out. And I slide down a dinosaur tail like on Flintstones.
Is that an actual job? Or
Probably
are you making
not.
this up? You're making this up.
That's what I always said my
Well,
dream job was ever since I was a kid. So
basically, you just want to sleep.
yeah.
Okay.
I sleep 4 hours a night. That's it is.
So you just want to sleep, but you want to have a title attached to it.
Yeah, it's literally a dream job.
Oh man. I can't top that. that's as good as it gets. All right. Let's get another break in here. When we come back, we have more questions about Jussi Sandernen, Sam Malinsky, kind of the young guys, and what's kind of our favorite memorabilia that we have Avalanche related. Let's do that next. All right, let's hear from FanDuel. We love sports and we love them so much. We never want them to stop. But as the playoffs wind down, we get fewer games and the sports aren't sportsing like we want them to. But FanDuel lets us keep the sports going whenever we want. All we have to do is open up the app and dream up bets anytime that we are in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers, that's in caps, all customers with a booster or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel is the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. All right. Some Av-specific questions here. A couple on Sam Malinsky. People kind of want to know about Sam Malinsky. Coy asked about him, and Katie asked about just what do we think about Sam Malinsky? As far as Katie, she says her Av circles were expecting that we would slot him into the third line and pick up a partner for him there, which probably is Calvin DeHaan. Yeah. We went out and got some established NHLers. Do you think Malinsky has a place on this team, or is he trade bait at this point? I hope he's not trade bait because he hasn't really gotten a shot yet. So I don't want the Avalanche to trade him away only for him to go succeed somewhere else. And you were like, well, you didn't even give him a shot here. So I don't think he's trade bait now. Maybe we're having a different conversation at the trade deadline, but that's where I stand with it.
No, I feel like he does belong on this team, and this is the time to shine now. But to the trade bait thing, I don't think anybody had Bowen Byram on their radar. And where's he now? So,
well, that you know what, man, like at the beginning of the season, no, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when Malinsky, as the season plays out, what is a need? You know, Bo Byram wasn't on that list because you thought you had Ryan Johansson as that filling that need. As the season went on, you realize that's not working, so things happen. That's that's on the table, I guess, if you want to kick the can down the road a little bit and go into the trade deadline season. But for right now, I don't think he is. I don't think that's
no. I say it's his time to shine. Put him on the everyday roster. Welcome to the team, Malinsky.
Yeah, and Coy kind of in the same realm. You know, as far he likes Malinsky, but he did ask like other young guns that are poised to break out. You know, and you got a lot of them on the Avs. Obviously, Malinsky's there. Now that you have Callum Ritchie signed, I'm thinking he's looking pretty good. I would hope as a possibility of him doing that.
You got to circle Foodie.
Yeah, you're waiting for something to happen with him. Definitely.
It felt like that was a foregone conclusion, and this is going to be honestly circle preseason. I know we laugh and kind of roll our eyes, but really look at preseason this year because this is a good chance to see all these names and how they're developing. And this is a year you really need to see how they are developing.
And I think a lot of people are looking at Kovalenko too.
Yeah.
So, you know, so, but the thing is, like, those are three guys that have potential to be that, where in past seasons, he didn't really, or four guys really with Malinsky that have potential to really can one of four. I think the odds are pretty good, hopefully, of one of those four young guys really staking their claim this year. So
yeah, after and on the heels of Newhook and Byram, and you kind of really want something
you
to
want
happen.
one of them. Exactly. Katie also asks, do you expect Annunen to get more consistent starts this year to help develop him a little more, or will Georgiev get 60 plus starts again? God, I hope he does not. He can't. Like, this team suffers if he has another 60 plus start season in him this year. Like, I think you are going to see how the Avs worked, like the two goalie system with Grubauer and Frankie. I think you're going to get back to that. I think you're going to see a healthy dose of Justus Annunen, provided he can produce. If he doesn't, then we're in another world of heck with totally relying on Alexander Georgiev.
I would take Katie's question and make it a statement. I think Justus must see more starts, and it must be like a 51-31 split. Like, it has to be pretty close to that. Like, ride the hot hand for a little bit, and then don't be afraid with your defense to put Justus out there, because you have to preserve Georgiev, because you've seen what the season looks like without him.
Got to. Absolutely have to. And then we're going to wrap it up with this one, sir. Kyle asks, what piece of Avs memorabilia or merchandise are you most proud of? And are we looking to add anything to the collection? I don't have anything that I like say, like, this is what I'm getting next. I kind of just always am like scanning. And if I see something and, it's not crazy priced, I'll consider getting it. So to answer the second part, there's nothing specifically that I'm looking to add, but I have a lot of stuff. I'll show a few of them here. What are some things that you are really proud of that you own?
Well, since you outbid me for the Nazem Kadri gloves a couple years ago, it would have to be
good.
The puck from the Stanley Cup with the ice inside of it, the crystal puck.
Oh yeah.
I did. I went and got one of those. I love that. And honestly, like, I have a home and away Avs jersey that has Shaggy Von Doom on it that I got from Altitude Authentics, because the name is too long to put on a Fanatics jersey. And and it's got Vargar was cool enough to find one of the Stanley Cup patches, and it is on my away jersey. So there's a lot of memories tied into those jerseys, and it means a
lot. You mentioned the Kadri gloves. I have them right here if you're watching on YouTube. So where's the name? There's
Do they ask about me?
Kadri's there, and then he even puts the 91 on the inside of it. Yeah. So these are usually hanging up behind me. I took them down just to show people there, but I just want a wall of gloves. I think that'd be just so.
That'd be so cool.
So I got those. I bought a Devon Taves signed puck, and it's a puck from the final, the Stanley Cup final. So he signed it and he wrote 2022 SC champs on it with his with his signature there. That's a cool thing. And then this, when I say like this is stuff I just like scour the internet for, I've showed you this, but there's this guy has an Instagram page, and it's called Mumbles to Himself. And his Instagram page is he carves Crayola crayons, like the top part of it, into characters. He does everything. He's done like all the Ninja Turtles. He's done Pokemon. He does Star Wars. He did like a gray crayon of Han Solo, like in Carbonite, like in the Carbonite thing. He's done just, you name it, he's done it. So I sent him a DM, and I was like, "Could you do like an Avalanche logo?" And he was like, "Yeah, I could do that." So I bought it, and here it is right there. If you can see that, I don't know if it's like
it's getting yeah. You could
there we go.
Boom,
a little bit there, but that's it. It's in a case.
It's insane.
But it, like, he sent it, and go check out his site. But this thing, I don't know. My wife's like, "How much did you spend on that?" I'm like, don't worry. It's not a lot, but it's more than you would spend on an individual crayon. But he'll do whatever you want to do. So those are just three things. I mean, I have pucks all around me. There's just so much stuff that I have, and you never stop. It's like,
Yeah. Like I have Joe Sakic signed pictures, and
Mhm.
I have jerseys, and it's for me, it's more personal memories, and that's what really stand out. And like that's what really rings the loudest. Like I still have the 3 Stanley Cups I made out of foam cups and paper that me and the kids had the Stanley Cup parade with.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. So those are a few. So if anybody's got, I'm sure people have some crazy stuff out there. And if you're interested in like gloves like this, Pond of Dreams is where I got the Kadri gloves. He's got tons of Avalanche stuff. So check it out. All right. That is going to wrap it up for today, everybody. So thank you for tuning in and making this your first listen of the day. That is always appreciated. I'm going to go sleep with my Kadri gloves on. Why not? He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan. I am Chris Maselli. This is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. We'll see you guys later.